This is Jason Kanigan with another episode of What's in the Box? What's in the box? Well, it's not a severed head of somebody's wife like in the movie Seven. But let's find out what's in this one. Okay, so this box again has the silica gel in it, and it too is remember the whole purpose of these things is to protect the lens, right, and to stop rot basically from getting in there. So we've got to replace that. But this is the first zoom lens I ever bought. In fact, the first third-party or legacy lens that I ever bought. It's a Tamron, and I don't know, I gotta say, sometimes you look online, you read reviews, and they're like, it's okay, but maybe the copy they have, which is what you call their version or their individual lens here that they got, wasn't very good, because this one is freaking excellent. I mean, I have taken zoom full 200mm extension with this thing, and sharp, like of cell towers, you can see signs, labels that you cannot see from the ground. I'm gonna put that down there so I don't bump it again. This thing is super sharp, and these are very common. Okay, you can find these on eBay. What this is a Tamron f 3.8, 80 to 210 millimeters. It stops down to f4 at 210 millimeters. So the build quality of this thing, again, it's built like a tank, all metal. And what do we see from the last video that we don't see here, right? There's no foot here, and that is the reason probably why the mount on this camera doesn't work very well with autofocus lenses anymore, because the weight of this lens is pulling on it, right? So you want that foot if you can. Okay, so this is a Tamron FD Adaptall to Sony NEX. Yes, that's their mount there. And this is a really good build quality lens. It's got what we call a pump shotgun zoom, manual focus again. If you're going to be interested in getting great deals on legacy lenses, you're going to have to learn how to do manual focusing, but you'll find that modern cameras have a thing called peaking mode that will help you focus. So you zoom in, you get to where you want, and it'll start lighting up. Say you pick your peaking color is yellow, that's what I use. You could pick white or something. And then you tap the screen to zoom in a little more, okay, or push a button. I can do that on my Canon. And you can zoom in to 4 times or 10 times or whatever it is, and see, am I sharp? Am I sharp? And then you adjust a little more, and you might be able to zoom in again. I think that thing lets you zoom into 9.5 times or something. So you can really dial it in on the screen, as long as it's not too bright outside, and get this thing, this type of lens, to be super sharp. Okay, so this lens with the f-stop that's available, I wouldn't use this in the dark. I don't think it would be very useful, but in light, bright conditions, probably not indoor, it's very good. This is an adapter, obviously the Adaptall mount to the Sony NEX lens mount, and those will run you 12 bucks, 15 bucks. I mean, you could pay a lot more, but why, right? In here we've got a couple other zoom lenses that I bought in my early days of collecting, where I didn't really know necessarily a lot about what I was doing. I was just getting lenses because they were 20 bucks or something like that, 30 bucks. This is what do we got here? Where are you? CPC lens. So a lens that nobody's ever heard of. I think it's like Central or Combined Products Corporation or something like that. And it's an 80 to 200. So again, I already have this range. Why would I get another one? I don't know. Everybody's conspiring to make noise today. I got military jets flying over. Earlier I did all this setup and was ready to go. My neighbor brought out his edge trimmer and started to go on the grand tour of Europe with his edge trimmer, for a while. So what this is a CPC. What do we got here? We said it was a 80 to 200, and our aperture starts at 4 and goes up to f22. So again, another pump action shotgun. This thing is okay. I don't mind it. It's not as sharp as the Tamron. So again, it typically stays in the box. I don't really use it, but it's there. And each lens This is the fun thing about collecting different lenses when they're cheap like this, right? It's like getting a present for yourself in the mail. They have their own little deviations and quality differences in that, so it's kind of fun to use them. These, I would say, are around the same price. I would get the Tamron over the CPC every day of the week. This one was one I got off of Etsy.com. I do not recommend buying off Etsy for this reason. On eBay and Amazon, the sellers are motivated to ship quickly and they get your product out because you've paid for it, right? But on Etsy, they don't give a damn. They'll wait 2-3 weeks, a month to batch shipping together. And I will never buy off Etsy again, okay? And this is a Kalimar, K-A-L-I-M-E-R, excuse me, K-A-L-I-M-A-R, 80 to 200 again. Why does Jason keep buying the same thing? I don't know. These are early days, right? My first month or two collecting lenses. I don't really know how good this lens is because what I discovered upon purchasing and getting it is while the optics look fine, the aperture ring does nothing. It just doesn't, it's always wide open. And I talked to the seller about it and he offered me some kind of discount the next time I ordered, but then the shop shut down, so what value does that have? So these are questions to ask when you're buying, okay? Does the aperture ring stop down? Now, yesterday, or in the last video, we looked at, just to hop back for a second, this lens, the FD50 1.4. And when I got this, the aperture wouldn't stop down either. And that's fine, actually, because I did some research and doing some Googling, YouTube searching and that, I discovered there was a little pin in the back of the mount and I had to get a screwdriver or a pen and push this pin down. And when you did that, that released the aperture ring, and then when you got your adapter on there, there's just a little finger on there that you can dial in, that allowed the aperture to be set at whatever level that we wanted. Okay. And that doesn't always work perfectly. Sometimes it'll have like 3 or 4 settings instead of the 6 or 8 that's on your dial, but nothing really happens when you click through a few of those aperture settings, but that's okay. But this thing, this Kalimar lens here, I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't find any info on it. There is a pin there that looks similar, but nothing seems to happen when I when I click on it. So, you know, I guess we're just stuck with it. So those are 2 lenses that I wouldn't buy again and don't use, the CPC and the Kalimar, but this Tamron 80 to 210 adapt-all mount, really good quality, very happy with it, and I would buy this again. If this broke, I would go out and buy another one. So that's this episode of What's in the Box. Appreciate you watching. Join me next time.